ready? Questions? Oh, it's on. Yes.
I actually have a question not related to the wage hikes. I'm following the story on the AirTrain and the LaGuardia AirTrain, and I wanted to get a sense if you have a better picture of when the EIS would start for that project, and also if you're familiar with and have any response to the concerns from folks who use the Flushing Bay for recreation and who believe that the AirTrain is going to reverse environmental work and access given to that area.
Rick, you want to?
Well, our current plan is to release a set of documents related to the AirTrain by the end of next week. It will kick off the environmental process. And I would say that all of the issues in terms of a variety of alignments will be addressed in the course of the environmental process.
Larry, you had a question?
This is a path-related question. We wrote a story yesterday about a passenger who passed out in a train. It was so crowded that the person could not fall to the floor. Talking to passengers on PATH, they describe this kind of overcrowding as more of the norm than the exception. My question is, what is included in the $150 million PATH station renovation that will address overcrowding, and specifically what's happening with the plans to lengthen PATH stations so they're going to be trains with longer cars?
Well, the $150 million item was a Sandy-related item, so this is all intended to address Sandy damage. The question of path capacity is front and center. As you may have noted, the board approved an increased number of cars a few months ago. The entire effort related to positive train control should produce benefits in terms of being able to space trains closer together, and we are looking very hard at further steps that we could take to address the capacity problem.
And the mayor of Jersey City has been really clear about that being a priority for him. I communicated with Steve yesterday. He has made the concerns known to us, and it is a priority for us.
Will you, Mayor Fulop?
I'm sorry, yes, Mayor Fulop, Stephen Fulop, yes.
The big question that riders have is, they're aware of some of the, the projects that are coming up, the extra cars, what have you. Is there anything being done in the short term to get them relief? And a follow question would be, are you working with developers to try to get them to pay into making some of these improvements, since obviously the new development is putting a burden on the system?
Listen, we are working on looking at a lot of traditional solutions, some out-of-the-box solutions. This is a top 1-2 priority for us. Have we gone down the step of actually soliciting proposals or requests from developers? I don't think we're down that road yet, but this is something you're going to hear something from us hopefully in the short term. But in terms of a concrete developer, here's the proposal, we want you to kick an X amount of dollars, I don't think we've gone down that road yet. Question, sir?
The main opposition on minimum wage came from airlines and contractors saying that this would drive up the costs to consumers, to their prices to consumers. Do you expect that that's what's going to happen at Newark particularly, where there's already criticism of the high cost of flying through that airport?
Well, I think all the information and studies that we have, all of which was discussed in the analysis that was published earlier this week and submitted to the board, suggests to us that the improvement in reducing turnover rates will be an enormous offset and important benefit to employers across all aspects of the airport's operations. Other airports have not seen that development. The fact is that most of the major airports in the United States have adopted minimum wage increases, and all of the research, again, and there's been a good deal of academic research, simply has not seen that impact.
Do you expect further challenge from the Airlines or any of the companies that operate at these airports?
I think you'll have to ask them.
Yeah, I mean, look, so they, in some respects, I think signal that they might be challenging. I think when they see the very comprehensive, literally 150-page opinion and all the research that's stuck to it, I think they'd be pressed to make an argument that they can actually take this to a court and succeed. We're comfortable. We understand there's some risk. We're very comfortable with our position, and we think we would win in a fair judicial form.
I think what I would say is this action was taken with an eye firmly on the traveling public. The benefits that the traveling public will realize relate first to security, second to better operations at the airport, third to better safety at the airport, and finally to better customer service in terms of workers who can be better trained, perform on a more motivated basis, and be more committed to their jobs. And I think that is the basis on which across the country policymakers and airports have raised wages for airport workers. And I think that a legal challenge to that, I'm not aware of any that has been mounted successfully in the country.
And not a single one has been brought to our attention that's actually succeeded, one based on security and safety, which this opinion firmly is. Yes, in the back.
Yeah, so then I just want to confirm if it's fair to say that one of the reasons the vote was delayed was because airlines like United were threatening possible legal action. And a second part of that question is, if they do sue, will airport workers be left waiting for their wage hikes until anything is resolved in court?
Well, to your first question, in terms of the extension, because of the number of issues that came up, and like I said, coming in the face of what we thought was a strange twist in the Supreme Court changing direction just a little bit, some really wise counsel and folks suggested to us that we really want to make sure this is thoroughly vetted out. A couple of issues that came up that need to be addressed, a little more research needs to be done. We want to be really careful. And you're making we waited 4 or 5 years to get this, an extra 60 days to get this thing done right, and it's preserved going forward. I think it was worth it to us. Your second question about whether they'll be delayed, our anticipation within 35 days, you're going to see a minimum wage increase. And that's
even if there's threat of legal action or anything?
We believe in 35 days, you're going to see a minimum wage increase.
Anybody else? And just to be clear, is your expectation that on the New York side that will be done retroactively in January by most of these employers, that they won't actually increase?
You've given them the option.
The wages.
They will have the option. Either they can adjust their payrolls twice, once effective November 1st to raise wages by 60 cents an hour, or when they make their adjustment January 1 to move to a $15 minimum wage, they can pay retroactively the 60 cents per hour to all employees based on the hours they worked in November and December.
But come November 1, they'll be working at an increased minimum wage.
The effective date remains for both states November 1st.
And that's something we took into consideration. May give them the option. Any other questions? All right, thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
When was the last time the governor of New York came to New Jersey for one of your meetings?
Where's Jim, our historian? I don't. Thank you.